What they couldn't understand was that I was up here all summer. Didn't you get lonely? No, I didn't get lonely. I was too busy. Well, I think I got my confidence from growing up on a farm where you had to work hard, and if something was broken, you fixed it. So I was not nervous about it, although I've always worked hard, and I didn't go down in the summer. I think the nicest part of the day used to be when everyone was gone. Bath the kids and put them to bed. Put myself in and read. Well, it's a nice quiet.
Mom.
1960 was my first year here at the tea house. The decision to buy the property was fairly easy because the CPR were thinking of selling the hotel down below, which is now Fairmont. And I wrote the general manager and asked if he would consider selling the tea house. And he said yes. So I didn't have time to make many inquiries or anything. I just bought it.
My mother's incredibly strong. She raised 2 babies on top of a mountain by herself. And she's resilient. I mean, she has incredible endurance and is incredibly hospitable. I learned about being generous from my mother, for sure, and hard work.
One of the big chores is picking up garbage, because we have to carry it all down. Burn what we can and then take the rest down. And of course getting up early in the morning and starting the bread and all that. As you can see, it does get busy at some point in the day. So you don't have time to bake. I'm hoping Suzanne remembered to take my biscuits out, the scones. When I arrived, it was a little overwhelming because I knew I had to have a new kitchen and a lot of things like that, and we were short of wood. We did have water because we have an underground spring which is still working, but wood was a problem to keep warm. And then when the children came along, of course we needed more wood because I had to put them to bed early, and I'd like to go to bed warm. So do I.
You've just got to keep going. And like beginning of October when there's snow on the ground and the water's frozen and you're hauling the water and you're out of propane and you've got to run down to get something, and nobody else can do it and there's nobody to phone, it's just that endurance of just keeping going and not complaining about it. My dad floated the logs across the lake, and then he had cowboys carry them up on horses, and it's a panna boat, so it was a kit. And there's actually 2 rooms in there. This was my dad's bunk, this was my mum's bunk, this was my bunk, and that was my sister's bunk. And this is where we grew up every summer. Well, if you want to call it growing up.
We had a pet marmot, that was their dog, so they had a dog to play with. And she was great, Charlotte. She'd run and then she'd stop and they'd chase her and she'd stop again and we'd feed her occasionally.
She was our first pet and we adored her. We followed her around, we carried her around, we fed her. She brought her babies, we'd play with her babies. Mum would just tell us to go play, and we did. I mean, we went to places that we shouldn't have gone, for sure. We had a rock hotel, we made a shower in the stream. Any toys that we had up here, if we left them out, were gone by the morning. A squirrel would have taken them. So we made toys, we made mud pies, we found a place where there was quicksand. My sister was a climber, and there was a climber here during that time. She was the youngest at Abbott's Hut, so she was 5 when she went up there. This was my normal, so it wasn't as though it was something to look forward to. It's just something that we did. I enjoyed, but it wasn't unusual.
Keeping them safe, they both learned to walk on rocks, and there's a stream down there, so you had to kind of keep an eye on them. And also we didn't have to worry too much about kidnapping, but you still had to keep an eye on them. I guess maybe the biggest challenge was having dry diapers. That was before Pampers, so you had to wash the diapers and hang them out in the line, try to get them dry.
We had a lemonade stand halfway up, and so people would hike up and they'd see 2 kids halfway up selling lemonade, and without any parents around, without, like, just seemingly out of the blue. And my mother complained that we'd always be taking her profits.
They didn't like it at all in the city. It's too noisy. They didn't like the telephone or the vacuum cleaner, the cars, anything. Like they tried to blow the lights on and run away back. You know, the oncoming lights were bothering them. Kept trying to blow them out like we blew out the coal lamps.
We would forget to turn the lights on and flush the toilet. So we'd wander around in the dark for a good month after we got back. And it was an adjustment because there was no radio up here, there was no music up here, there was no, obviously, car sounds. So I do remember every time we went back it was loud, really loud. I feel more isolated going back down than I do on top of a mountain. Both my parents were here till at least they were 75, and I plan on being here at least that long. I have a nephew that's 6 right now, so I have a ways to go if he's going to take it over.
He's 6, and she said he has to run the tea house. I don't know, I think he's going to be a scientist by the way he's acting. She said, well, we have to keep it in the family, so he doesn't have any choice. He has to run the tea house. He's only 6.
My mother has banished herself from the kitchen, I see, so she's chopping vegetables on the picnic table.
Would you like a cup of tea? We'll get you one.
There's a lot of strong women in this area. And it's sort of the norm, so it's not recognized. And there's summers when I've come up here and we've had to break trail in snow up to our hips, and we don't question doing that, you just have to do it.
No, I don't think I'd change anything. I just like plain black tea.
Mom, dishes!